So this is one of the reasons why Republicans are losing. This is the reason. This is a huge reason, and until people, like, this is the Republican version of the trans issue. It is an issue that people overwhelmingly do not support, overwhelmingly do not want to be controlled by, do not want to have conversations dictated in service of or in favor of. They just don't want to be involved. I think a lot of Republicans have a resentment for Israel, because of, like, they think that Israel, plays a big role in influencing politics here in America. I think that there's a tremendous amount of resentment there. But whenever you compare the resentment with the actual fact that most Americans probably think Israel is fine, but they just don't want to be controlled by them. That's all. And that's the issue, right? Nobody has a problem. Not nobody. There are some people that do have a problem with Israel. But I think that the majority of people just simply don't want them calling the shots, right? There's no thinking it. Yes, exactly. So you have and this is the thing to me, right? I see this and I think to myself, why the fuck would I vote for this retard? Why would I vote for this guy? And this is, by the way, this is my governor right here, Greg Abbott. Why would I vote for this fucking retard whenever you have 2 Israeli flags, 3 Israeli flags, 3 things I stand with Israel, and only 1 American flag? I'm sorry, guys, but that's just not for me. That's not for me. I'm an American. I'm a Texan. These should be Texas flags. That should stay the same. And this should say I stand with, I don't know, ICE, the police, firefighters, first responders, something like that. Anything except for Israel, right? And so anyway, no Texas and no Texas flags. I'm okay with state flags. I am. I think state flags are fine. And so anyway, it doesn't deserve your vote. America first, America for Americans. And yes, and at the end of the day, this is one of the things that I think Democrats have lost because of, is that Democrats have been corralled into the idea of voting for the lesser of 2 evils. And I think that Democrats decided not to vote for the lesser of 2 evils whenever they didn't vote for Kamala Harris. They didn't want to. They were demoralized. They didn't want to vote for her. She talked like a retard. She didn't do what they wanted. She didn't say the things that she wanted. She wasn't, charismatic enough, or for whatever reason, they just didn't want to have her. Grippers are taking power. Well, I don't think that necessarily not wanting to have 6 reminders inside of one frame that your country is being occupied by another country is not being a groiper. That's being an American. This isn't Nick Fuentes. This is common sense. Like, what are we doing? 7? They keep multiplying. This wasn't there the first time I saw it. So yes, anyway, wasn't this an Israeli event where Abbott was a guest? Kind of makes sense, no? Maybe, right? But like, whenever you see things like this that happen, here's the problem, is that you see it constantly. It's not one thing. I'll watch this. Listen to this.
Like, everything I'm reading, and it's like, if you have a problem with any of that, you hate Jews and you are a Nazi.
Yeah. It's just not gonna, it's not working. And so the right is, like, there are 2 factions inside of right-wing politics right now. There are America First conservatives, and there are international traditional, neocon Israel, like lobbyist people, right? Like, there are 2 groups of people here. And the infighting is why they're losing. They're losing because they're infighting. The reality, though, is that, again, the Israel issue is the Republican trans issue. I think 80%, a huge amount of voters are demoralized, completely fucking demoralized by the fact that they have politicians playing, kowtowing and playing patty cake with Israel constantly. It's a massive thing. And the more that you play into that, and the more that you try to oh no, this is normal, this is fine, that's the problem. Pull it as you did with the trans stuff. Is not being pro-Israel, prioritizing a foreign country. So it's about 70-30. It looks like it's about 70-30 so, right? I mean, we've got 1,000 votes in here. It's probably going to stay about the same, right? Is being lobbied by Israel a deal breaker? For me, I would say that the answer to it still, for me, is no, it's not a deal breaker. because I'm pragmatic and I realize that there are other things that I would want to have happen, even if it's by somebody who I dislike. However, I think that for enough people, it is. 30% retards? Well, 30% of people might just be saying, okay, well, there are other things that I care about more than that, right? And so that's it. And so do we have military bases in Israel? Yes, exactly. You could even say that it is one. And anyway, let's go back. I'll listen to the rest of this.
You are a Nazi. I was like, what? Wait, I don't like my politicians not knowing which country they love more. I don't like being...
This is ridiculous. If you can't immediately answer, who are you voting for? Who are you voting in the best interest for? American citizens or Israeli citizens? And you're in the American fucking government? I think, you know what? If you can't answer that question, I have a different question. Do you want to go to Israel today or tomorrow? Because you're getting a one-way ticket there and you're never coming back. That's my opinion. That's it.
Censored for pointing out things that are true. I don't like a foreign country dictating censorship terms and destroying the First Amendment in my country.
Exactly.
I don't like being
like TikTok
surveilled by drones run out of Israel. I don't like America or Germany's cybersecurity in the hands of Israel.
Yes.
I don't like the...
And I think that also Israel overplayed their hand whenever they showed how good they were at killing terrorists. Think about it like this. If they can pinpoint to surgical accuracy the exact apartment building that a fugitive, running from Israel, doing everything they can to hide from Israel, military officer is in Iran, and they can bomb and kill him inside of his apartment and not even affect the rest of the building. That's scary. And the thing is, I bet the United States intelligence is that good too. Probably, I mean, I would hope so, right? I mean, we've got a lot more fucking money. I hope it's even better. Yeah, that's how Trump finds out where these people are and he bombs the fucking boats, right? That's how he is. And so they did overplay their hand with that, though. And I think in doing so, they also earned a tremendous amount of trepidation. Because now you see like, oh my God, these fuckers aren't messing around. This is serious. And I think that's a big reason too.
Sycophantic dedication that American politicians have to Israel when Israel seems ready and willing to pivot to China the moment they don't get what they want from us. Why would we be okay with any of this?
Yes.
And why would opposing this have any bearing on how we feel about Jewish individuals? Exactly. It's a ridiculous lie. Anti-Semitism doesn't exist, isn't a real thing. And
I think anti-Semitism does exist. I think it is a real thing, but it does not exist in the way of opposing Israel makes you anti-Semitic. Like, for example, like being Jewish is two things. It's some people are Jewish ethnically, some people are Jewish religiously, some people are both, right? I think that if you're against people ethnically for being Jewish, that's anti-Semitic. I think that if you're against people that are Jewish for whatever reason because they're part of Israel or they believe in a religion, that you could say it's anti-Semitic, but like fundamentally, Judaism is a collection of ideas. It's a collection of ideas, same as Islam is or Christianity. Everybody should be able to have any trepidation, any opinion that they want on a collection of ideas.
Their outrage and their panic right now is revealing that our peaceful revelation of the scams is having a massive and powerful effect. Yeah.
And so anyway, I think this is the main issue, right? This is 100% why people can't grasp this. People's religion is separate from their entire identity. Yes, exactly, right? Separation from church and state until you need to blur the lines and call your opponent racist or anti-Semitic. Yeah, obviously, right? But anyway, so that's really what the big problem is. And I think that's the main reason why a lot of people have been alienated. It sucks that the right are stuck fighting over Israel when they agree on 99 out of 100 other issues. The problem is that if you are being occupied, let me see here, main issues American, not Israel. Let me see here. I'll see if I can find the rest of this here. Encourage Israel supporters and its critics, including Tucker Carlson, to keep this in mind. I think that if you want me to be honest, the main issues that a lot of people vote on are basic needs issues. They are basic needs issues more than anything. But yes, a lot of people, so here's the problem, okay? And I'm going to compare this to the trans issue, okay? Anybody who thinks that a biological male that transitions to a woman should compete against biological women in women's sports, the belief that there is a parity there or any equality there is equivalent to me to the belief that the earth is flat. I mean, it's basically, it's just as scientific as the earth being flat. It's ridiculous. Everybody knows this isn't true. It's crazy. So the problem is that whenever you see a person that says that, it makes you question everything else that they believe, because it shows that their mental faculties and their opinions and their values have been compromised. And I think that that's the same thing with Israel, is that it's not necessarily that it's such a big deal. It's that if it's not such a big deal, then why won't you relinquish it? Why won't you move away from this? If you actually think it's not a big deal and, oh, people are overreacting, then why are you still focusing on this and pushing it so hard? Do you see kind of what my difference here is? And so, yeah, it's expanding Earth theory. Well, what my point is that these issues are, they're not necessarily like the trans issue. Like, I mean, 0.6% of the population's trans. Like, this is not a big fucking issue, right? It's not like, oh my God, this is something everybody has to deal with all the time. It's really not. But what is an issue is the ideology and what the ideology represents, because a lot of people don't view it as adhering to their reality. That is the same thing as Israel. That's the main thing. And Israel is more hated than terrorists. Like, I'm no Israel fan, but that just sounds ridiculous. I don't think that people like Hamas either. Like, if we were supporting Hamas, I think people would be angry about that too. Like, again, I don't think that we want... The people that are against Israel don't like Hamas. Like, or at least a lot of them don't. I mean, I'm sure some of them do, but the majority of them do not. So yes, and it's not one or the other. Yeah, it's neither. I think for a lot of people, how many of you guys who are Americans think that it's not about Israel or, you know, Hamas or Palestine, it's about America? That should be the focus. It doesn't matter, like, oh, yeah, well, going on over there, like, there's this other thing going on, and, like, you know, there's this other thing in Iran, and, you know, yeah, we bomb Iran, okay, that's done, it's over, it's done in 3 hours, all right? Finished, completed, done, that's it. But everything else besides that is the issue, right? Always America first. Yes, America first, 100%. And that's really the way I see it. This, by the way, I wanted to show you guys this right here. This is the reason why people like Mandami are winning. Right here. This is the actual reason. It's not because of brown people, stupid women, or Muslims. It's because nobody can buy a fucking house. Nobody can afford a fucking house. Nobody can afford to have kids. They can't pay for their health care. They can barely afford a phone. They don't have a good job. They're going to have to work until they're 85. They have health problems that they can't take care of, so they're not even going to live that long anyway. They're fucking tired. Or groceries. Yeah, you can't afford food. Like, you can't afford fucking food. Like, the end of the day, Israel is a, you know, you have like the Maslow's, this is a topic. So this is a very, you know, very well understood topic, right? Is that this is how I would explain the way that politics are going right now. Creative activities, esteem, all of this prestige, all of these things here are things like Israel, mass migration, trans rights for people that are not trans. Obviously, if you are trans, it's a much lower on the pyramid. But these are abstract social issues. They're not immediate and they're not direct. Security, safety, food, water, warmth, and rest. If you don't have these two bottoms of the pyramid, you don't have a fucking pyramid. You can't run on these and then... oh, fuck, I thought it was a wasp. Never mind, it's just a little gnat. But anyway, yeah, you can't run on these without having these. These are the foundation for these values. Yeah, wow, how do you know Maslow's period? Because everybody knows this. Literally everybody knows this. And so, yeah, this is the most obvious thing. And so, except people in support of Israel would argue that it's in part of the safety needs. How do you reconcile that? So our safety needs is that we have to micromanage a bunch of like terrorist factions in the Middle East. Well, I don't really know about that. I mean, I feel like we've been doing that for 20 years and it didn't really make America that much safer either. I don't think so at all. Like, Israel isn't a neighboring country to the USA. Yeah, exactly, right? And so it sounds legit. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, absolutely not. I don't want to micromanage a bunch of, like, Muslims on the other side of the world and try to decide who gets to control, which monument, right? It's crazy. Let them figure it out. They're going to deal with it. And I think, honestly, they want us to do that. I think that Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Dubai, Syria, probably even Iran, probably just want us to leave them the fuck alone. Really, they just want us to leave them the fuck alone. They don't want to have to deal with it. They don't want to have to fight us. They don't want to have to, like, have a war with us or anything like that. Absolutely not. Like, because you think about it, they also operate under this same pyramid. They do. They operate. They're not going to be thinking about, oh, America being full of, like, oh my God, it's full of gay people, and oh no, like, we've got to go kill them, and oh, we're going to go do another 9/11. Like, what the fuck? No, they're not going to be thinking about that whenever they're getting attacked and bombed. They're going to be thinking about how can we just live our lives. That's it. And so if you don't understand this pyramid in the concept and how to apply it to politics, you will always lose elections. You will lose elections every single time. Because you fundamentally do not understand how people think. And that's the main point that I'm making with this. More than anything else, you do not understand how people think. You can't live your life under constant threat. Yes, exactly. Well, extremists are thinking about that? Extremists are everywhere. I mean, like, you can't, are we going to stop? Oh, great. We spent 20 years in the Middle East to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. Has it ever occurred to you that maybe we should just leave them the fuck alone? Let them figure it out themselves. If they're getting ready to bomb us or they're talking about making nuclear weapons, then just go blow it up and then leave. We don't need to have an ongoing occupation for years and millions and billions of dollars sent over there for years. You can't control everywhere. I mean, what are we doing? The problem is Israel understands the pyramid. They play everybody against each other. Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, like, I think there's a little bit more than that. And so anyway, well, we succeeded because the Taliban's let it being Tappy Pipeline now that we gave them Afghanistan. So after we gave the country back to the people that we tried to get rid of out of the country, now we're able to just negotiate with them. So why couldn't we just do that before we blew them up and we spent $1 trillion? Spend trillions of dollars on this, trying to blow up Afghanis, people in Afghanistan. What are we doing? And now we're negotiating with the same people. And now, so we just wasted 20 years, like, thousands of lives, millions of lives, including theirs, and they remember that. Even if you think you don't care as an American, they care. That's why there's new Taliban members. That's why, I mean, again, and this is another thing, and I'll get into this. I don't want to get too much into the Middle East thing, okay? Because this is only one piece of the puzzle. But one of the big pieces of the puzzle here is very simple. If you look at a lot of the guys in ISIS, the guys in Hamas, and I'm not talking about, like, obviously the leaders are, like, much older men, but, like, the guys that are actually going around doing the shooting, many of those young men that were in ISIS were men that spent their entire childhood, from every year that they were really basically aware of their own existence, occupied by a foreign force, which was America. I'm sorry, but if you spend your entire childhood living in a country where you are being occupied by a foreign military force, you are looking to breed extremists. You are. And you can say, obviously, I'm not justifying ISIS. ISIS are awful. And I'm glad that they're basically gone, right? Now they've turned into something else. And I think one of the guys there runs Syria. But, again, and now we're dealing with him, by the way. And so, and again, that's another good example. We had all these problems with this guy. Now he runs Syria. He's going to come to the White House, and we're going to move past this. They're gone? Yeah, they're pretty much, yes, exactly. They're not doing the same shit that they used to. And so just move the fuck away from them. Leave them the fuck alone. And so anyway, we blew them to pieces and hope their children would work for us. Yeah, exactly. Like they America radicalized an entire generation of Middle Eastern young men by occupying their country for the majority of their lives. They did. And I'm actually surprised that it's not worse. I'm surprised that we don't have more terrorist attacks. I'm surprised that we don't have more ISIS attacks. We don't have more terrorist factions that are directly trying to attack Europe and attack America. It's shocking that it's not more after a 20-year occupation. So, and again, nobody won. Do you know who won? The guy that died yesterday. Dick Cheney won because of that. So the main reason why I think they're winning, this is what I think happens every 2 and every 4 years. Every 2 and every 4 years, things get worse. Things get more expensive. The average income relative to productivity goes down. This has been going on for 50 years. Every single year, every 2 years and every 4 years, we think to ourselves, okay, finally, we elected a Democrat, and a Democrat is now going to take office, and things are going to get a little bit better, and everything's going to improve. 4 years go by, nothing changes. Then it's like, all right, well, that didn't work. We're going to elect a Republican. That's going to fix everything. All right? And then after that, we're going to have everything change, and everything's going to go back to the way it used to be, back down here. And then no. Okay. All right. Well, then now we're going to go with the Democrat. No. Well, now we're going to go with the Republican. No. Now we're going to go with the Democrat. Nope. And then more and more people keep flipping. It's like, I don't know, like, I guess it's like changing the, like you're sleeping on your pillow's warm, and then you turn it over, and then you just wait for the pillow to get warm again. So the real problem is that neither Democrats or Republicans have really made any tangible impact on improving day-to-day American problems. And I think this is on purpose. And the reason why it's on purpose is because it ensures them ping-ponging back and forth about keeping and maintaining power. That's what's happening. Yeah, this is by design. And so now you had Trump take office. And again, this is why I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't. And this is what I was worried about. I wasn't worried that Trump was going to be a dictator. I was worried that he wasn't. I was worried he was going to limp dick it the whole way through. And I've seen so many posts about this too, by the way. Let me go back over. I'll see, because I thought I got promised a dictator. I got fucking scammed. I'm scammed. What's going on here? Let me go over and see what this is. Yes, here we go. This is what happens when you don't arrest people from the deep state. How many deep state actors have been arrested? How many people have been charged with sedition and treason? 0. How many Epstein clients have been revealed? 0. World War III. I don't really think this is that accurate, but okay. Keep sending endless money to Ukraine and Israel. This is absolutely a problem. COVID vaccines don't really care about this much. Carry out Israel first, America last presidency. Yes, exactly. And so basically, Republicans lost votes because they became Israel first and continued spending, ditching Doge. Yeah, exactly. The idea of Doge, like how many of you guys, whenever Elon came up with the idea of Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, thought, oh my God, I hope they get to the Pentagon. I hope they get to the military. How many of you guys foolishly believed that this might happen? Or hoped. Hope is enough. I did. That's what I wanted. They didn't do it. People elected Trump to do the things. Before he got elected, do you know what he did? He put out a crypto coin. I didn't think it was a big deal, right? It's not a big deal that this happened. But it is when nothing else happens. It's kind of like, if you ever had like a fucking, a relationship with another person, a girl, a guy, whatever, and this person, maybe they leave food on the living room table where you're not supposed to leave food on it, right? Or they spill something on it and they don't clean it up. And in a normal situation, this would be totally fine. It's not a big deal. But because of everything else, all of the other things, every single other fucking problem, it's too much. Here we go. So, this shit dropped more than Ubisoft stock. It gets worse. Then his wife went in and made a coin as well. Then Trump goes and pardons somebody who he says he doesn't even know who they are. And this person was involved indirectly with Trump's sons that was doing crypto. And they have their own crypto thing. What the fuck are we doing? It's fucking ridiculous. And I don't think that, by the way, I don't think Kamala Harris would have been that much better. I think it would have just been a different flavor of corruption, a different flavor of problems. Biden wasn't any better than this either. But the problem is that people get so fed up with it that they just keep electing the most extreme flip the board over candidate possible. That's why they elected Mandami. They didn't elect him because, oh, wow, like this is, things are going well. They elected him because they said, you know what? This other Cuomo guy is touching people inappropriately. He put old people with COVID in fucking nursing homes and killed people. And on top of that, he said, this is the thing. This is when Mandami, so people have been showing this. I completely agree with this viewpoint, by the way. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick and find it. I'm looking for the election. No, this is not it. There's been a lot of these today, and so I might have missed them. Where the hell did it go? Yeah, right here. This is where he won the election. This was it. Wasn't CD, wasn't CZ, wasn't part of Trump's launch or Wi-Fi. It gets weirder because there's no connection between the president and CZ at the moment. I mean, okay, so then he just pardoned a random guy. He doesn't even know who it is. I mean, can we just at least admit that, like, that sounds pretty fucking weird, right? This is when he won the election. I'm a pro fence sitter. I'm not a fence sitter. Like, I think that I've established my positions on things very, very clearly. Anybody who thinks that I'm a fence sitter on things, and there are some things that I am a fence sitter on. If you don't want me to be a fence sitter, then maybe you should make your side more attractive. Maybe you should do that. Maybe if you don't want people to not go to your side, maybe you should make it more appealing.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo?
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my 4th trip to Israel, followed by my 5th trip to Ukraine, two of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address...
This was the exact same moment for him than it was for Trump, when Trump raised his hand and said that he wouldn't support the Republican nominee for the party in the 2016 primary. This was his moment, right here.
New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani.
And I said that then. Remember whenever I made the video about this guy, whenever I first saw this first happened, and I said, damn, that's a real one? Looks like I was right.
I just jump in. Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
Even think about this method of questioning. Where would you go? I would stay in the country to support the people that voted for me. Okay, so do you like Jewish people? Okay, do you think Jewish people in Jewish countries should exist? Really? People watch this and they get radicalized. They do. They get radicalized. This is exactly why people want to burn the thing to the ground. Exactly right. And that is exactly what I said then. I identified it. A lot of my viewers, a lot of you guys, you don't like 80% of his opinions and his ideas. Maybe you don't like 100%. I don't like 80%. But this is part of the 20%. That's the thing. A lot of people got mad at me for saying this. So, New York is one of the highest cost of living areas in the entire country. You can see right here, it's up there with California and maybe a couple of other countries like Hawaii and stuff like that, right? And so his answer was perfect to capture the American vote, put New Yorkers first. So you have people, this is one of the most expensive cities, most expensive, states to live in, right? Countries, look, guys, you get what I'm saying. And so anyway, I get it. And so, be honest, the stat's useless without income stats. Okay. All right. Look at you could have that. I mean, you could look at this here, $100,000 after taxes, and this is like fucking $30,000, right? You're not making any fucking money. Yeah, I don't know what you want me to find. Do we really need to how many graphs do you need to see before you can realize the obvious reality that it's really expensive to live in New York? America's most expensive states. New York, 10,000, 42,000. Look at this. It's like number one, right? I don't know about this specifically, right? But in general, yes, inflation is due to government spending more money, and spending more money you can't dig your way out of a hole. Well, you can if you do it sideways and then upwards. But overall, there are ways you can dig yourself out of a hole. Absolutely, there are. But so how about Silicon Valley? Yeah, 70%. Well, what I'm saying is that my point with this is very simple. I'm getting distracted. We're getting off topic. People in New York can't afford rent. They don't have money for food. Public transportation is a problem. That's the problems that they have. They don't give a fuck about Israel. They don't care about Israel. No. So then just move out of New York? Okay, just leave. Just go and leave the state, leave the city that you've spent your entire life in. No, they would rather vote for somebody that wants to make it better. And even though, again, I don't think a lot of people, and again, I think that how many of you guys are, maybe Trump guys, that you can at least respect this guy? You can respect the fact that he's at least trying to work for people that are in New York and not Israel. Can respect it. Yeah, I can respect it. And and you can disagree with a lot of things that he's saying, but this one point matters so much. This one thing. I don't believe words, but actions. Yeah, I don't think he's going to deliver on a lot of the stuff either. If you want me to be honest, I don't really think so. But we'll see what happens.
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not as a Jewish state?
As a state with equal rights.
He won't.
Why are you even asking? He's running to be the mayor of New York. Who the fuck cares what he thinks about Israel and Palestine? You need to figure out how to get the buses to work better and how to make sure that people don't get robbed. That's your job. Who that gives up? The new fucking Israel and what the fuck? Jewish people in Israel? What are we doing? Because New York has Jewish people? They have Muslims too. They have everybody there. It's one of the most fucking diverse states in cities in the world. If everybody is there.
It has a right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very clear.
And his answer was no. He won't visit Israel.
I said that.
That's what he was trying to say.
No. Unlike you, I answer questions very directly.
All right.
My goal would be to take my first trip to Israel. My wife's life work in this area means a lot to our family, and it could coincide with my young son Miles' bar mitzvah. If you'd like to have his bar mitzvah.
Okay, but.
And there it is. And so they can go back to Israel if they don't like New York? Yes, exactly. It's fucking McCarthyism. Yes, exactly. America. So people, you see this shit. And dude, it's just so weird. Think about this, right? Take your head out of everything for just a second and think about the ridiculousness of every single candidate for the race to be the mayor of a city in one state inside of the United States. That every single person gives the same uniform answer to go to the Holy Land that is in another entire country on the other side of the world, while simultaneously that country has multiple PACs, political action committees, and influence inside of this country. Would that seem sus to you? Because I think we might have a couple of imposters here. We do. It sounds like it, yes. And fundamentally, very, very sus. And United States of Israel, I think the internet has made people too intentionally minded, too internationally minded. Yes, exactly. And I think that, again, New Yorkers care about issues that are affecting people in New York. Also, I think that a lot of people that were shocked by this win don't realize how colossally unpopular everybody that I know from New York, basically, doesn't like this guy. There are some people that would, plug their nose and vote for him and, all right, fine, I'll vote for this guy instead of Mandami. I know a couple of people from New York that are like that too, sure. But very few people liked him. Very few people liked him. There's a reason why he dropped out. And also, he's another fucking Democrat. This isn't like a Republican loss. This is one Democrat losing to another Democrat. That's it. Do you think there's there's no major Islamic pact spending money to do the same? Look at Michigan or Minnesota. I think that while there might be, and while I think that there probably are, efforts that Islamic and Muslim pacts and different groups are doing in order to gain a foothold in American politics, I don't think that they can hold a candle to the influence that Israel already has. And so people they're not going to look at, okay, well, there is also this issue. They're going to look at the main thing. They're going to look at the main problem, right? That's it. Of course that's going to happen. Of course it's going to happen with China, with every other country. But there is one extent that it happens way more. Ridiculous take? It's not ridiculous. If it's so ridiculous, then why are none of them saying that they're going to visit Saudi Arabia? Oh, that's right. Because it's not ridiculous. One of them is orders of magnitude larger than all of the other ones. And that's the one that people have a problem with. That's it. Or Jamaica. Yes, something like that. And those packs are registered with FARA. It's the difference. Yes, because they aren't Muslim. Some of them, I'm sure that there are Muslim political action committees in one way or another, or Muslims that try to do things to influence American politics to better benefit Islam. I'm sure this happens. Of course it happens. But that's not the point. The point is that it is very clearly not as effective as Israel. Because not a single person there said anything different than Israel. Watch Trump Miami speech. It's so good. Yeah, I'll watch all of that stuff in general, right? But this ridiculous take is to get the huge influence that power Israel has. Yes, exactly. And so anyway, do you think Sharia law is a threat? He needs to understand taqiyya. I understand. That's the Muslim idea of that they're going to lie to you so they can advance Islam. I understand that. I don't know. Listen, I don't want Sharia law in the country either. I don't want to live in Saudi Arabia either. But I don't want to live in Israel or Saudi Arabia. The fact is that Israel has much more influence right now than Saudi Arabia or any of these other Muslim countries have. I understand people want to circle jerk about it and talk about how bad Islam is. I don't like extremist Islam either. It's pretty obvious I don't. I think most people in America don't. That's why they're pro-gay rights. So the reality is, yes, most people are in agreement with this. So there's not really, there's not a lot of debate here to be had. I want to live in America. Yes. That's ridiculous. Yes. Keep religion out of politics. Yes, exactly. And extremists of any religion is bad. Yes. And hoping the shit kicks, they don't run away from New York and stay there. Yeah. How much power does a mayor really have? Are people really dooming on this election? Here is what this election shows. The election shows that people are tired of Republican policies and their implementation over the last year. That's what it shows. I think that on a larger level, right? I think that there's a symbolic value of this, but I do think that a lot of the elections happened. They did happen. They happened in the majority, not all, but the majority of them were in, places where Democrats were probably going to win anyway. They were poised to win. People were expecting them to win. And what people expected to happen ended up happening, right? I think that's what happened. But in some cases, the difference of how many people voted for a Democrat there versus a Republican changed dramatically versus the 2024 presidential election. So why is it that so many more people voted for Democrat this time than didn't last time? Is it all because Kamala Harris was a retarded, drunk aunt at your Thanksgiving, family meal? Is that the only reason? I don't think that's the only reason. I'm sure that's one reason, but that's about it. And what are some things that you don't agree with him on? I don't agree with him on, for example, the idea that violence is an outcome of of society. I think violence is a choice by an individual, and an individual makes a choice to be violent. And my solution to violent people would be putting them in jail pretty much indefinitely until they learn how to act, and making them like fucking do labor, right? I mean, I would compel them into labor. That's what I would do. So like that's a very big point of difference. Because I think that the moment that you take a person's agency away from them and you say that, oh, okay, well, now this person, the reason why they're doing it is actually this abstract concept and not of their own free will, I think that really you run into a very, very dangerous precedent. So yes, isn't the individual shaped by society? There are people that whenever you choose to stab somebody on a bus, that's not society's fault, and I want to put you in a box for the rest of your life. That's my policy. I'm not going to blame society. I'm not going to blame your parents. I'm not going to blame the government. I'm not going to blame a politician. I'm going to blame you, and you're going in the box. That's it. Is self-defense violence? Yes, it is. But it's okay violence. It's acceptable violence. Yeah, exactly. Bro, look into Sharia law. You will like it. I mean, honestly, the truth is that the way that they do things over there are a lot of similarities between the way that they do things over there and the way that I think things should be done. Now, I'm not saying I want it, but there are a lot of things that the way they handle it, I agree with it. Go, yeah, it's an old world. Yeah, sure. Sharia's Old Testament. Yeah, and sometimes I think that's the right answer. Yeah, examples. Somebody steals something, you cut off their hand. Shouldn't be stealing. What are you doing stealing? What are you doing? You know you're not supposed to steal. Everybody knows you're not supposed to steal. What are you doing? What are you doing running around holding up people's stuff? So I don't even know what to say. So what if it's a false accusation? Well, I mean, you're going to have a court that figures that out, right? I mean, obviously you have a court that does that. No one does that, by the way. Did you steal? Yeah, because I knew I wouldn't have my hand cut off. Now, if I thought I was going to get my hand cut off for stealing, I wouldn't have stolen shit. That's the thing. That's my whole point. That's great when the judicial system works properly. How about a finger for first offender? It depends on what they steal, and at that point I'd decide based off of the maybe based off the finger, right? And so anyway, do you believe in second chances? Well, they've got two hands. So God does, so why not? So yeah, no, I don't give a shit. Don't give a shit at all. And so 10 fingers even? Yes, exactly. 2-strike system. Yep. The third strike? I wonder what that's going to be. And so anyway, we're getting into Sharia law. Who cares about Sharia law? Okay. Like, again, I don't want to have any religious extremism in the country, period. Zero. None. Absolutely none. And I think at their apex, extremist religions are pretty similar. They are. They're pretty similar. If you find a hyper-extremist Christian and you find a hyper-extremist Muslim, there are a lot of things that they're going to agree on. There's probably more things that they will collectively agree on than a blue-haired SJW will agree with on either of them for. That's the difference. A lot of people might not want to hear that, but it's true. So yeah, Amish, yep. And hyper-extreme Muslims are way worse, though. Again, like, I'm not going to argue about which one is worse. All I'm saying is that I don't want either one of them, okay? Like, yes, you're right. Do you think I want to live in Saudi Arabia? I don't want to live in Saudi Arabia. I don't want to live in Dubai. I don't want to live there. I think they're great places. I'd love to visit, sure. But, like, I don't agree with their laws. But if I go there, I would follow them. This is such a reasonable thing to say. I'm surprised that there are so many people people constantly try to get me to condemn Islam as a collective. I am not Islamic. I am not a Muslim. I am generally an atheist. I don't believe in any of that stuff. If that's not enough for you, and I am against all extremism, absolutely, that, like, Iran, like, I was supporting a bombing Iran because they're fucking psycho fucking religious extremists. If that's not enough for you, I don't know what you want me to do. You're far removed from it? Yes, of course. And so anyway, that's it. What about their prophet? Who cares? I'm not a Muslim. What the fuck do I have to do with Muhammad the prophet? What the fuck would I care about that? It's got nothing to do with me. And so anyway, let me go back to my original graph. Yeah, I don't know. Like, they say he was an asshole. He married a girl that was like 9 or 6 or 11 or something. Like, yeah, it's obviously weird and bad. Do you think I, like, have to defend this? Or I feel like I have to defend... I don't give a fuck about this. It's not my religion. It's not my problem. Yeah, that's fake. I know people think it's fake. I don't want to hear about why it is or isn't fake. My point is that I don't care. It's not my fucking problem. Here's my point. Anyway, actual pedo? Yeah, sure. But are you against all extremism? Or are you against extreme big titties? Okay. Well, not all extremism, okay? Almost all extremism. It's a little bit different, right? And give me 1 second. I'll make sure I look at this here. And yes, feels like it's fence sitting, or am I tripping? That's fence sitting? I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I don't, yeah, I mean, I don't know really what you want me to say. It's very clear what I've said. Anyway, either way, religion is not the focus here. It doesn't really matter. This is what really matters. The age of the U.S. first-time homebuyers is now at 40 years old. So back in the year 2000, actually even whenever, this is about whenever I was born. I was born in 1990, okay? This was 3,000 years ago. Or more specifically, 33 years ago. 35 years ago. It's going to be 36 years ago pretty soon. Ooh, now we got another month and a half. It's going to be 36 years ago. So anyway, look at this here. So this is in between 1981 and 2000, so it's about 1990. That means that around the year that I was born, I guess this is the median age of a person buying their first home was under 30. Think about how unfathomable that is. This means, if it's 30 to 25, that means we're looking at about 20, 27, 28 here, right? So it went from about 27. Yes, exactly. This is what we've lost. And every 4 years, we flip the board over and we think maybe we're going to get it back. And every year, it gets worse and worse and worse. And now it's getting worse on steroids. And so when you see somebody go and elect, Mandami or somebody like that, they are doing this out of absolute desperation. They are doing it because they are so fucking sick and tired of the same dog and pony show, or I guess, what is it, elephant and donkey show, every 4 fucking years. That's the reason. They're fucking tired of it. To say fuck the system, yes. Yes, voting for him is saying fuck the system. And do you want to know who voted for him more than anybody else? Young people did. Young people voted for him because he told them that maybe it's not your fault that this graph happened. White women, women overwhelmingly voted for him. Women voted for a lot of these candidates, 75, 80%. It's crazy. Us guys, we got to go out and we got to outvote them. We got to outvote them. We got. But the thing is that why would you even give a fuck to be motivated to go out and outvote somebody just so you can have, the next person play patty cake with Israel and talk about how important it is for us to spend more of our tax money sending it somewhere else? Black men too? Yeah. It's something in a different path, yeah. They aren't going in a new direction, they're just stuck in a roundabout? Yes, exactly. Fuck man, I'm 20, and have given up on it. You're 20 and you've given up on owning a house? You're 20 years old and you've given up on owning a house? What year is it? 1533? I understand that, in your mind, this is a big deal, right? And, it's yeah, you've got to have this happen. You were in high school 2 years ago, bro. Think about owning a house by the time that you're 30. Okay? I think you should be thinking about owning a house by the time that you're 30. Not 20, 30. You should be renting a house maybe by 25. After you get your college degree, you get, situated in a career, then you can rent a house, then you talk about buying one, maybe continue renting, depending on the way that, like mortgage and everything else is at 30. Well, aim for 30. Aim for 30. And if you miss, maybe you get to 35, right? And 35 is not really, well, it is pretty bad, but it could be worse. So yeah, I'm 30 and owning a house seems impossible. Yeah, there's a lot of people that feel that way, and I wonder why. So yeah, this is the reason why a lot of people voted for him. This is exactly it. And I think it's just going to continue getting worse. It will.